Welcome back to Aging is for Everyone. I'm Marian Deutschman, sitting in for Laura Mondello. And we're continuing our discussion of alternative therapies for the elderly, with the focus now, as you can see, on pets. We know that being around a pet can be very soothing, and I've read that it can have very therapeutic benefits, even for lowering anxiety and stress.
Absolutely.
And maybe lowering blood pressure, etc. Well, you're the best people to talk about this. So our guest is Alexandra Dufoucault, and who is the regional representative for Therapy Dogs International, an organization I've never heard of. And so you'll have to tell me about that. And she's joined by Barbara Lenahan and the Doberman Nitro.
Yeah.
Tell us what Therapy Dogs International is. What is it all about?
Therapy Dogs International is an organization that tests and registers therapy dogs. They actually have a very stringent testing process that they use. That's their own test, and they're, an organization that provides, guidelines and a means for people to get involved with visiting. They provide, they email you links where you can go visit. Instead of just doing it on your own, you have an organization backing you. They also provide insurance for all of their volunteers. It is a volunteer organization, so anybody that does anything through Therapy Dogs International is a volunteer through them.
But now you're saying there's testing of dogs. I mean, who gets the dogs for whom? What are we?
Dogs are actually people's pets. Whether the person bought the dog with the intent to do therapy work or not is really the person's prerogative. But dogs live with the people. They are the people's pets, and the people decide, what, I think I want to be a volunteer, and I think I want to do something with my dog as well. And Therapy Dogs International is a great way for them to do that. We have a lot of volunteers who, either they're elderly themselves and they're retired and they're looking for something, to occupy their time with, and they like to visit the nursing home. And the impact that the dogs have with visiting the people is so immense that why would you not want to bring your dog? So you can get them tested, get them certified, and then you can visit with your dog.
So you're bringing your own dog, and the testing is done by Therapy Dogs International.
That's correct.
And then the dog has to pass a certain number of tests in order to be qualified, and wear that red scarf and that tag. Tell me about that, Barbara.
Well, Nitro has a great personality, and so I just knew that he would be a great therapy dog. He was already well trained because we had trained him ever since he was a little puppy, but he had that personality. He enjoys people, he's very calm, and so I just knew I wanted to test him. So
that's your dog, and you are testing him, and then what do you and the dog do together?
Nitro and I go to Roswell. That's where we have chosen to volunteer. So we go every other Monday and we visit with the people at Roswell. We're pretty well known there now. Probably our favorite floor is the pediatric floor. We go and sit with the kids, and they really know his name and sit with him. And it's also nice in the waiting rooms when people are waiting for loved ones who are maybe in surgery. You're there for hour after hour after hour, and it's just a break. A lot of times a dog will get a person to start to talk about maybe dogs that they used to have, or just
so it's
a comfort.
It would change the mood.
Absolutely.
So your organization does not provide the dogs?
No.
It tests the dogs?
Yes.
It certifies them?
That's correct.
And the people who own them are either the people with impairments, or, like Barbara, you want to be wanted to be a volunteer, and your background is what?
I'm a dog trainer.
Oh, so that's just a unique kind of combination.
It really is, yes. And Alex,
but you don't have to be a dog trainer.
Oh, absolutely not.
To have this dog certified.
Absolutely.
No, you don't. You don't have to be a dog trainer. It may be the first dog you've ever owned. As long as your dog can pass the test successfully, you're welcomed into the Therapy Dog International family as a volunteer. You mentioned earlier that sometimes the people with impairment own the dog.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah?
Unlike a service dog, a therapy dog offers comfort and support to other individuals rather than a service dog that is provided public access rights and things of that nature. So a therapy dog differs from a service dog in that aspect.
Oh, I see. So what qualities do you look for in a dog that, I mean, there are probably some that you rule out right at the start. How do you do that?
You're really looking for temperament. The temperament is the most important part that we're looking for. The dog has to want people to pet it. It has to seek out affection, but it can't do so in a rude way. It can't run over to you and put its paw on your lap, because a patient or someone who's elderly could get scratched very easily. The dog has to seek out affection, and it has to want to do the job that's being asked of it. Therapy dog can be a stressful, job for these dogs. You're asking a lot of them to go in and volunteer and visit with different people.
A lot of self-control.
Exactly. And so mentally it's very fatiguing for the dogs. But more so than just temperament, we're also looking for obedience. The dog does have to be obedient. They have to sit, they have to stay, they have to be able to stand by your side so you can ride up to a floor in an elevator or walk through a hall that's kind of crowded with a bunch of people. So as much as temperament is the most important factor, it's not the only factor. Obedience is definitely in there as well.
Since I can't ask Nitro, tell me, Barbara, how does your dog like that?
He
loves all of that
He
therapy.
loves it. He absolutely loves it. But like Alex was saying, we volunteer for 2 hours. We come home and he sleeps all day long. He really
was
enjoys
exhausting.
it, but it is exhausting. Yeah.
For all the things that Alex was mentioning?
Exactly. And people are hugging him and laughing on him and crying, and I do think he feels those emotions, and he goes home and rests then. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. So how can people get involved with this organization?
People can go online actually at visit tdi-dog.org. TDI-dog.org. That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, and they can visit that website. It will, give you a bunch of different information from how to contact TDI to the testing requirements that your dog will be required to test and pass in order to be registered with TDI. And it'll also give you, some background information. Why join TDI? I know you had, a woman here with hospice earlier, those are things TDI does as well. They are involved with hospice. So
That very creative approach and a nice linking of what someone wants to do with a volunteer activity and a dog. I think it must be very rewarding for all of you.
It is. It absolutely is.
Thank you so much. That's really raising the consciousness of something that I was not aware of at all, and I think that dog is remarkably
Thank you.
well trained.
Thank you.
Good self-control. We'll be right back with the next segment of Aging is for Everyone. Thank you.
you're welcome.